will be held on Tuesday had been requested by the US, Japan and South Korea. North Korea fired a ballistic missile into waters off its east coast on Sunday. Washington and Seoul voiced concern over North Korea's missile and nuclear programs. Pyongyang says these programs are meant to protect the country from US hostility and aggression.
The meeting was requested by the United States, Japan and South Korea. According to the South Korean and US militaries, the missile travelled around 500 kilometres before landing in the Sea of Japan. This follows a test launch on May the 14th of what was believed to be an intermediate-range Hwasong-12 missile. The DPRK has claimed this type of projectile is capable of carrying a heavy nuclear warhead. US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Sunday called the latest test disappointing and disturbing.
We're early in the stages of applying the economic pressure as well as the diplomatic pressure to the regime in North Korea. Hopefully they will get the message that the pathway of continuing their nuclear arms program is not a pathway to security or certainly prosperity.
Its terminal high-altitude area defense system known as THAAD in South Korea in 2017. The billion-dollar system is intended to guard against missile threats from the nuclear-armed north. It's based in a former golf course 250 kilometers south of Seoul. THAAD is designed to intercept and destroy short and medium-range ballistic missiles during their final phase of flight. Once radar detects the incoming threat, the target is identified and engaged. Fire control and communications support are deployed. The THAAD interceptor is then fired from a truck-mounted launcher which can carry up to 8 interceptors. The interceptor itself is composed of a protective shroud, interceptor or kill vehicle and booster. It uses kinetic energy to destroy the target. It has a range of 200 kilometers and can reach an altitude of 150 kilometers. China is strongly opposed to the deployment of the sophisticated missile defense system in South Korea, which it says upsets the regional security balance in addition to weakening its own ballistic capabilities. The US has previously deployed the system in Guam to defend against regional missile threats. The United Arab Emirates are currently deploying their own THAAD battery, the first Gulf state to do so, as part of US efforts to forge a coordinated missile defense network against.
South Korea's new president Moon Jae-in called an emergency meeting following the DPRK's 10th missile test this year.
North Korea fired a ballistic missile again today. North Korea's provocative action went against our government's and the international community's expectation and desire to denuclearize and to establish peace on the Korean peninsula. The South Korean government strongly condemns this irresponsible and reckless behavior.
South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said the missile traveled about 500 kilometers and took off Sunday afternoon from a location where a failed test was held last month. What analysts are trying to determine is whether the latest test is a sign that Pyongyang is determined to push on with its nuclear weapons program regardless, or whether it does want to come to the negotiating table, but from a position of strength. The latest launch follows the testing of a mid to long-range missile a week ago, which flew through the Earth's atmosphere, indicating Pyongyang has mastered heat shields that could protect a nuclear weapon on re-entry. The launch was also condemned by Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who said he would try to prioritize the DPRK's missile program at this month's G7 summit in Italy.
It is important to coordinate not only with South Korea and the United States, but also with China and Russia. We will coordinate with South Korea, the United States, China and Russia in order to deal with this resolutely.
The DPRK has so far defied all calls to stop its nuclear and missile programs, despite a bid by South Korea's new president to reopen talks and normalize relations. Jack Barton, CGTN.